I was their daughter, their sister, their bank, but never their priority. 10 missed calls glared back at me. Mom, Dad, my brother Brandon. My phone buzzed again like a wasp trapped in my palm, vibrating with demands I already knew too well. I didn't pick up. I just sat on the edge of my sofa, staring into nothing, asking myself the question that has haunted me for years. How did I become the villain in my own family story? 6 months ago, I walked away. Quietly. Without tears. Without a goodbye. Just a faded duffel bag slung over my shoulder, and a decision that felt like ripping off my own skin. And now suddenly they want me back. Desperate. Begging. But what they don't know is that I just uncovered the truth that changes everything. My name is Diana Miller. I'm 28 years old, a financial analyst who clawed her way through Georgia State on a full scholarship. On paper, I made it. In reality, I spent years as the invisible glue holding my family together, the one who paid the bills when my parents forgot, the one who covered my brother's messes when he lost yet another job, the one who carried a weight I never chose. I started working at 16. Not for pocket money. Not for fun. Because I knew no one else would take care of me. While my friends were laughing at sleepovers, I was wiping tables in a diner, saving for a second-hand computer so I could keep up with school. My parents didn't notice. They didn't ask if I was okay. But when Brandon, my 32-year-old brother, needed a new laptop after dropping out of art school, Mom opened a credit card without blinking. "He's restarting his life," she said softly, like it was something noble. Brandon was always the dreamer, the one with potential. Every failure was excused, every mistake forgiven. When he lost jobs, Dad would clap his shoulder like a coach encouraging his star player. When he moped, Mom cooked his favorite meals, as if comfort food could disguise his lack of effort. And me? I was the safety net, the fixer, the one who didn't have the luxury of failing. I paid their electric bills, their car repairs, Brandon's art classes. I even covered the mortgage when Dad forgot. Over the years, I sent more than $20,000, thinking I was saving them, thinking I mattered. But every time I came home, the same scene repeated. Brandon lounging on the couch, controller in hand. Mom bragging about his talent. Dad reminiscing about his 5th grade art contest like it was still relevant. My sacrifices weren't just invisible. They were expected. The one time I mentioned saving for my own place, Mom laughed in my face. "A girl buying a house alone? Aren't you worried what people will think?" That was the moment I realized I would never be enough for them. Then came the Sunday that shattered me. I drove 40 minutes with groceries like I'd done 100 times before. This time, instead of a hello, Mom stood in the doorway with her arms crossed. Her eyes were sharp, her voice colder than the rain outside. "What you're sending isn't enough." The words sliced through me. I had been paying their mortgage for 2 years, covering their bills, buying their medicine. My jaw tightened. "Not enough?" I asked quietly. Dad stepped forward, his face lined with tired disapproval. "You make good money, Diana. We're struggling." And Brandon, sprawled across the couch like royalty, smirked. "What's wrong with sharing? Family helps family, right?" My blood boiled. "Sharing goes both ways, Brandon. All you do is take." The room snapped. Mom's face hardened. "Don't speak to your brother that way. You're being disrespectful." Dad's voice joined hers, heavy with disappointment. "You're being unfair." And then Mom delivered the knife to my chest. "If it's such a burden, Diana, then walk out. Don't come back." The silence after was deafening. I looked at the people who raised me, the people I had bled for, and they were daring me to leave. My hands trembled, not from fear, but from clarity. So I did. I dropped the grocery bags onto the floor. Cans rolled across the tiles. Without another word, I turned and walked into the rain. The storm soaked me to the bone, but inside I felt lighter. No one followed. No one called my name. For the first time in my life, I wasn't their daughter or their bank. I was just me. But freedom comes with questions. What happens when you stop being the lifeline? 6 months passed. I built a new life. A tiny apartment with peeling paint and floors that creaked under every step, but it was mine. I woke up to silence instead of chaos. I cooked meals that tasted the way I liked them. My savings account finally grew. For once, my money went toward building my life, not patching theirs. But the calls didn't stop. Mom, the banks are after us. Dad, we'll lose the house. Brandon, you're letting us drown. I ignored them until one message made my blood run cold. From Dad. Why haven't you paid the mortgage? My stomach dropped. I hadn't paid in 6 months. Why was he asking like I still had? That night, I logged into the bank account I used to send the payments. My hands shook as I scrolled. And then my heart stopped. The last actual mortgage payment was 8 months ago, 2 months before I left. But after that, I had still sent them more than $3,000. Money I believed was saving their home. It wasn't. It was gone. I called the bank, desperate for a mistake. But the rep's voice was calm, almost rehearsed. No payments since January. My throat tightened. My chest ached. For months, I had been pouring my heart, my trust, my money into them, and they hadn't even been paying the mortgage.
Tightlied. Stolen.
Betrayed me. When I confronted them, Dad stammered excuses. Mom yelled, "You don't understand." Brandon sneered, "You're selfish." But I wasn't broken anymore. I was done. "I'm not your ATM," I said, my voice steady. "Lose the house if you have to. That's not my burden anymore." And for the first time, I hung up without guilt. I powered off my phone and sat in the stillness. Not angry, not heartbroken, just peaceful. My apartment is still small. The walls are bare. The floor creaks. But when I walk through the door at night, it doesn't smell like obligation or disappointment. It smells like freedom. Do I sometimes wonder if I went too far? If I'll regret letting their house slip away? Of course. But then I remind myself, I carried them for a decade. If they fall now, it isn't because I failed. It's because they never even tried to stand. Maybe I was never the perfect daughter. Maybe I never will be. But I'm finally learning that my worth isn't defined by what I give to people who only know how to take. Sometimes the hardest choice, the choice that rips you apart, is the very one that sets you free. So let me ask you, have you ever carried a weight that wasn't yours? Have you ever felt guilty for finally saying no? If you have, tell me in the comments. I want to know I'm not alone. And if this story hit you, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more stories about breaking free and finding yourself. Because in the end, family doesn't define your worth, you do.